Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing something a little bit different. We're not talking about books, but we are talking about movies because it is October. I love October, I love Halloween, I love horror, and I love horror movies. So I thought this would be a fun little break from book content. We're gonna talk about some horror movies. I'm gonna tier rank some. So let's go ahead and get into it. Basically what I did is I just Googled like popular horror movies and then downloaded a bunch and put them in here. So we're gonna go through all those together. So let me give you guys the breakdown of the different tiers that I made. So at the very top we have all-time fave, self-explanatory. Then underneath it, actually fantastic, pretty good but didn't blow my mind. And then we have solid classic, which is like, if you like horror, I feel like you have to see that movie. I don't know, just like classic movies that stand up and are solid. And then underneath that, I didn't like this one. And then at the very bottom, I haven't seen it, because there are a few in here that I don't think I've seen yet. So with all of that being said, let's just go ahead and get into it. We have a lot of movies, so we'll see how long this video is. Okay, so the very first one that is popping up is The Visit, which I watched a couple of years ago. I think I'm gonna put that in pretty good, but it didn't blow my mind, because I did enjoy it, but I don't know if I would like widely recommend it, and I don't know if I would personally watch it again. Maybe I would, but it wasn't anything that really stuck with me hardcore. The next one is VHS, just the first one because I don't have time to go through every single one of them. The first one is solid, love it. I really enjoy that movie, so I'm gonna put that in actually fantastic. It's not a favorite, but like I said, I do really enjoy that movie. Okay, the next one is You're Next, which is an iconic slasher. If you are into slashers and you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what you're doing. Absolutely love it. Definitely an all-time favorite when it comes to horror movies. Up next, we have 31, which is a Rob Zombie movie. I am a hardcore Rob Zombie fan. I really love him. I love all of his movies. This one, I wouldn't say is an all-time fave, but I'll put it in actually fantastic because I do think it's a good movie. And I mean, I love Rob Zombie, so of course it's gonna end up there. Okay, the next one is Devil, which I feel like, I don't know if it's like underrated or people just like don't know. I don't really hear like people talk about this movie that much, but I think it's fun. I do enjoy it, so I'm gonna put it in, should I put it in actually fantastic or pretty good but didn't blow my mind? No, I'll put it in actually fantastic because I would recommend it and I would watch it again. I have seen it a couple of times. It's just fun, and I don't know. Definitely nothing will compare to the first time seeing that movie and you have to guess like who the devil is, but it's a fun movie and I would definitely watch it again. Okay, then we have The Conjuring, the first Conjuring, which I do enjoy. I really love that one. And while we're here, the second one is in here somewhere. Here it is, The Conjuring 2. I'll put both of those in actually fantastic. I can never make up my mind on which Conjuring movie I like more. I really enjoy them both. The first one is like solid, classic, scary, freaky. The second one is scary, freaky as well, but like, I don't know, in a different way. I really like the different elements in that one, and I like the little like hidden things in that one. But the first one is like classic, so I don't know. I just really love them both. Okay, the next one is Host, which I actually have not seen. I've heard Host is really good, but I personally just like, I'm not really a fan of webcam style movies. I don't know, I know Unfriended was like years ago and that one was really popular when that came out and I didn't really like it. So I don't know, like, you have to let me know if I should watch this movie or not. Then we have Hostel, which is, I don't know where to put this one. I kind of want to put it in like solid classic, but I also kind of want to put it in actually fantastic. Maybe we'll go down here, solid classic, because I've only seen that movie once, but I feel like you really only need to see it once. I don't know, just the scene with the Achilles tendon and that sticks with you. That sticks with a person. But I definitely think it belongs in this category because I feel like it's, I don't know. If you like gore, I guess if you like that specific type of horror, then you have to watch Hostel, you know? Okay, next we have Hell House LLC. I know it's definitely gonna go here, but I don't know if it belongs up top in my all-time favorites. I don't know if it, This is a difficult one. I think I will put it in all-time faves because as far as like the category of like found footage horror goes, I think Hell House LLC is like one of the best. I'm not a super huge fan of found footage. Well, I guess, I don't know. You guys are gonna say that I'm lying because VHS is right here, but I don't know. There's something about Hell House that is like, it's actually so spooky. I think that's a good place for it. I think I can call Hell House LLC one of my all-time favorites. So if you haven't seen the movie, watch it. Okay, then we have It Comes at Night. I didn't like that one. I don't know. Maybe I would need to rewatch it and like have a fresh perspective going in, but the first time I watched it, I just didn't, I don't know. I didn't really like it. And that's that. Trick or Treat, all-time fave. No question about it. I have loved that movie since I was a child. And that's it. Love Sam. Think he's adorable. Okay, and then next we have House of Wax, which is the remake. I don't know if, I think that one came out in 2005. I actually haven't seen the original. Don't fight me, but I need to watch it. I know I need to watch it. But House of Wax, the remake, is one that I've loved since I was a kid because my mom had it on DVD. We actually just watched it a couple nights ago to get into the Halloween spirit. So I think I'm gonna put this in Actually Fantastic because I don't know, it's fun and it's silly and it's a little bit spooky and there's just something about it that makes me really, really love it. The next one is As Above, So Below. I know this one has a lot of people that talk about it and are really behind it, but I feel like it is still underrated. I feel like not enough people recognize how fantastic of a movie this is. This is definitely an all-time fave and I just don't even know how to explain the feeling that I had the first time I ever watched that movie and like just when everything like kind of comes together with what is happening. I don't know. I really, really love it and I think they did a fantastic job. Okay, next we have Sleepaway Camp, which is, I'm gonna put in solid classic. Nothing will ever beat the first time that you watch that movie. Like if you know, you know. I can understand why it may be controversial in like today's world and I definitely understand that, but you have to admit like it's a classic and it's a slasher, summer camp slasher, and the vibes are just fantastic. The next one I think I'm gonna put in that same category, that is Saw, which is just once again a classic one. Like who hasn't seen this movie? Who that likes horror hasn't seen Saw, right? Or at least the first one. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I do like watching the Saw movies like back to back because at least, I don't know, the first few at least are very like interconnected, but I haven't seen them in a couple years, so I don't really have a lot more to say about it. The next movie is another all-time fave that I still think is criminally underrated. I know a lot of people are talking about it more and more and bringing more attention to it, but I definitely love it. That is The Descent. So it turns out a lot of these are actually going to go in the all-time fave category because the next one, Get Out, is going in all-time faves. Absolutely phenomenal. Love that. Love Jordan Peele. Love all of his films, but Get Out I feel like is the one iconic standout for me. Definitely I think my favorite one of his. It's like one of those movies where you watch it and you're like, I wish I could erase this from my mind so that I can go and watch it again and be shocked and surprised at everything that happens. And it's just so well done as well. I think Jordan Peele is fantastic. The next one is It Follows. I'm not sure if I should put it in pretty good but didn't blow my mind, or if I should put it in actually fantastic. I think I'm gonna put it in pretty good but didn't blow my mind. I think as far as like modern horror movies go, this one is pretty good and pretty well done. I know it gets like a lot of hate for some reason. I don't know. I feel like I see so many people talk about this movie and talk about how they don't like it, but I think it's actually pretty good, and it's an original idea, and it's done well, it's executed well, and I think it's a fun story to follow. So okay, the next one is another one I haven't seen yet, but I am like dying to see it because, okay, this always happens. People, I feel like, will latch on to one horror movie like every season and then just be like, oh, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen, and then I watch it and I'm like, not really, but I still do really want to see it. That is Talk to Me. I don't even know what the plot is, but I've heard fantastic things about it, so I do want to watch it at some point, but I don't know if I buy into the whole like scariest movie I've ever seen. The next movie is another one that I've seen people doing the same one with, where they're saying it's like the most horrifying movie ever, Skinamarink, which I actually started at one point and then I stopped because I wasn't in the right mood for that type of movie. I feel like that's very much like a late at night, turn off all the lights and just like really pay attention to this movie, and that wasn't the vibe I was going for at the moment that I tried to watch this movie. So I do want to watch it at some point. I just don't know when that time will be. So I'm gonna put in haven't seen it, even though I've seen probably the first like half hour or so. I am interested in it, interested in the concept, but because of the way that it's filmed, and it's very much more of like a, I don't know what the word is, like abstract type of ambiguous horror. So I definitely have to get into the right mindset before going back to watch that one, but I think it'll be really good. Next up is A Quiet Place, which unfortunately I have to put in. I didn't really like this one. I thought it was okay. Like, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but I feel like for the amount of like hype that it gets, it's not that great. Then we have another all-time fave, Sinister. One movie that actually really spooked me the first time I saw it. The scene with the lawnmower still gets me every time. I just love the way that the films are made, and it's just got that creepy, like, I don't know, unsettling quality to it that just like really gets under your skin and is like, oh, just makes you feel gross and dirty, and I don't know. I love that feeling. That sounds weird, but like when it comes to horror, I love horror that can make you feel that way. And the next one is another all-time fave, which is The Strangers. I feel like this one is appropriately hyped. Like, the people that love it really love it and really talk about it. It messes with your head, it messes with your heart, it's spooky. I think it's done so well, like home invasion type of thing, and I just really enjoy that movie. The next one is The Deep House, which I was absolutely fascinated by the synopsis of. It just didn't deliver. I didn't like it. It could have been so fantastic. Like, actually, it makes me mad because that movie could have been so good, and then I don't know what the heck they were doing. The execution just fell flat, and it makes me really sad because it could have been like literally an iconic, fantastic movie, and it just wasn't. Okay, the next one is The Babadook, which I think I'll put in actually fantastic because I do really enjoy that one. I think it's got some very iconic, creepy elements to it. It's got some good storytelling, and then the ending as well is definitely one that sticks with you. So would watch again, would recommend. I think that one is also appropriately hyped. Next we have The Collector, which I'm also gonna put in actually fantastic. I do really enjoy that movie, and the second one, The Collection. I feel like these are two that I don't see so many people talk about, but I think they are really good. I think they do hold up. They're gory and gross and fun. Okay, Jennifer's Body, I think definitely has to go in all-time fave because how could I not put it there? That movie's iconic. Love it so much. Love Megan Fox. Love everything about it. And that's that. Okay, we have the original It movie, which I think I will put in actually fantastic, and I'll put the remake there as well. I think they are both great. I think I prefer the original Pennywise, Tim Curry. I feel like he looks so much creepier in the original one versus the remake, but I think they're both fantastic. Okay, next we have Lights Out, which is another one that I just didn't really like. I didn't really vibe with it. I don't know. I thought it was gonna be so much better than it was, and I just didn't really enjoy it in the end, so that's that. Another one we can put in that category is Old, which I will be honest, going into it, I wasn't expecting to like it. I was expecting it to be really, really dumb, which it was. It was entertaining enough to hold your attention for the whole movie, but it's not one that I'm thinking about still or going to watch again or going to recommend. So I didn't like it. But I didn't expect to like it either. Another all-time favorite, The Cabin in the Woods. Iconic, groundbreaking, fantastic. How can you ever forget watching that movie? Like, once again, one of those ones that I wish I could delete from my memory and just watch for the first time again and watch everything unfold and come together in my brain, because it's just so good and it's funny. And it's just got all the fun elements in a horror movie. Next up is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Obviously, that's gonna go in solid classic, because who hasn't seen this movie? Friday the 13th, once again, another solid classic. I haven't seen any of those movies in years, but I feel like I should rewatch them at some point. Just like have a Friday the 13th marathon and just see if my enjoyment is still the same now that I'm an adult and not a child. But I do think they're classic, and you know, everybody knows it. Everybody knows Jason. Classic slasher. Next is Eden Lake, which I feel like is one that is a little bit more unpopular, like a lot of people don't know. I think I'll put this in pretty good, but didn't blow my mind. I did think it was interesting. It was scary because it was like real life horror, but it hasn't really come across my mind since watching it. And that's really all I have to say about that one. Scream, I feel like I'll put in solid classic. I'm not the biggest like Scream fan, but I also haven't seen any of the movies for a very, very long time. So I don't know if my opinion will be different now, but I do think that they are a classic movie and definitely help to shape the genre and slashers and things like that. So for that reason, it has to go in solid classic. The next one is Smile, which I think I'm actually gonna put in actually fantastic solely for the end, because like, what? That was some of the best like horror monster, I guess you could call it, imagery in a horror movie that I can recall, and it's definitely stuck with me, and I think just really made the whole experience so much better just because of that. Loved it. Wasn't expecting that from that movie, but I'm really glad that it went that way. Next up is Megan, which I'm gonna put in pretty good but didn't blow my mind. It was definitely entertaining and fun, original, had some interesting imagery and things with the doll in it, but it didn't blow my mind. It's not a favorite movie of mine, and I wouldn't really recommend it as like a great movie, but it's an interesting movie and an interesting concept. Then we have The Ring, which I'm gonna put in solid classic because it's just one of those that I feel like if you like horror, you should watch it, but I wouldn't call it a favorite of mine or anything that I particularly loved very, very much. Next we have Terrifier, which I'm not sure if I should put in pretty good or if I should put it in actually fantastic. You know what? I think we're gonna do actually fantastic because it's just an iconic movie and I would recommend it and I would watch it again, and I do really enjoy it. And on that note, let's talk about All Hallows Eve, which I'm also gonna put in that category. It's really funny because I watched All Hallows Eve, loved it, recommended it to my friends. A couple years later, Terrifier comes out. I watched Terrifier and I just never connected the two for years. And then one day it like hit me and I was like, oh my god, that's the same clown. Art the clown is from All Hallows Eve. and he's from Terrifier. So I don't know, I just think that's really funny. But I do love both of those movies. I think All Hallows Eve is so fun, and I don't think that one gets talked about as much, even though Terrifier, I feel like, it definitely has its fan base, but I don't see a lot of people talk about All Hallows Eve. So interesting. Next up, we have Hereditary, which I'm gonna put in pretty good but didn't blow my mind. I thought that movie was okay, but I think it's definitely one that is a little bit overhyped maybe. I do need to rewatch it and maybe go in once again with like a new perspective on it. But as far as like my first impressions when watching the movie, I thought it was good, but it wasn't anything crazy like I was expecting it to be, just because of the amount of hype that it gets, although it does have some definitely like creepy imagery in body horror and things like that I do really enjoy. On that note, we might as well talk about Midsummer, which I did enjoy more than I enjoyed Hereditary, so I'm gonna put that in actually fantastic. That movie is messed up. I don't know, it's got some brutal scenes in there that are definitely not for the faint of heart, and I was actually shocked by like how dark some of that stuff was for it being such like a widely loved and like widely recommended movie, because this isn't one that I would recommend to everybody, especially somebody that doesn't normally watch horror, because it is like dark and brutal and twisted and gory and just really difficult to watch at times. So I was really shocked by all of that, because I wasn't expecting that from a movie, like I said, that so many people were recommending to everybody. The next one we have is Ma, which I actually just recently watched, and I'm not sure if I should put it in pretty good but didn't blow my mind, or if I just should say I don't like this one. I'm gonna keep it down here. I'm gonna say I didn't. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it finished and I was like, that was dumb. Like, there were so many things that just didn't make sense to me. Like, so many plot holes, I feel like, of things that I was like, why is any of this happening and why is nobody like questioning it? It was a well done movie though, and it holds your attention. I wasn't bored, that's for sure, but I don't know if I really enjoyed it that much. Okay, let's get into some more all-time faves. Barbarian. One of those, I know I've said it a couple times already, but I wish I could remove that movie from my brain and watch it again for the first time, because like, what the fuck? It starts off totally different and you think it's gonna be one type of horror, and then it progresses into a different type of horror, and then like something else. Oh my goodness, I can't even really fully explain, but I do really love that movie, and it definitely sticks with you. It's definitely unique, it's original, and it's fun, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. Another one of my all-time faves is Raw, which I don't even know what to say about this movie. I just love it so much. Also, an all-time favorite is 28 Days Later, which I have said countless times is the best zombie movie to exist. Although I don't know if it could technically count as a zombie movie, because they're not really zombies, right? They're just like infected and they're not referred to as zombies, but like, let's be real. They're zombies, you know? 28 Days Later used to scare me as a kid. Sort of still freaks me out as an adult. The soundtrack for that movie, fantastic. Just the way that the story is told and the way that the movie, I don't know. I just love it. And it is definitely the best zombie movie out there. Now we have Us, which is another Jordan Peele. I'm gonna put this one in actually fantastic. I do really enjoy that movie. I've seen it a few times and I'm definitely gonna continue rewatching it and recommending it, but I don't think I would call it an all-time favorite. Next up is Halloween, which of course I have to put in solid classic, because how could I put it anywhere else? That's really what it is. Classic slasher, Halloween, October, that's it. Next we have Malignant, which I think I'm gonna put in pretty good but didn't blow my mind. It was fun, it was funny, It was entertaining, but I haven't really thought about it since watching it, and I don't know if I would really necessarily watch it again, maybe in a few years, but I think it goes well in that category. Okay, next we can talk about X and Pearl, I guess, which I don't know which one I like more. I'm really excited for the third one. I think, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna put both of them in all-time fave because I absolutely love the stories of both of them and I love the way that both of them are filmed. I especially love Pearl just for how like dark and twisted it gets. Like that is some of my favorite, I guess, type of horror is the stuff that gets really, really dark and difficult to watch at times. X I love because it was fun and I loved the way that it was filmed. I also love that like up here in my all-time faves we have a very big like red theme going on, which is just, it looks nice together. Okay, Black Phone is going in Actually Fantastic. Love that movie. Will definitely recommend it. I need to read the book though. I think it was done well, a very original story, and I really, really enjoy it. The Ritual I'm also gonna put in Actually Fantastic. It's just spooky and has some fantastic monster imagery, like some of the best I feel like in horror when it comes to like, I don't know, just getting glimpses of the monster, because I don't like when horror movies like show so much of it that it's kind of like becomes not really even scary anymore. But I think The Ritual does a really good job of like the way that it shows the creature, and I don't know how to explain it, but I really, really enjoy it. Next we have Orphan, which I think I'm gonna put in Actually Fantastic as well. That was an iconic movie for me as a kid. It definitely is like arguably bad. Like there's no arguing against that. Like it's not a fantastic movie, but it is. The Taking of Deborah Logan, I think I'm gonna put in Actually Fantastic as well. Well, should I put in Actually Fantastic or should I put it in Pretty Good But Didn't Blow My Mind? Oh, that's tough. Let me think about it. I'm gonna put it down here. Pretty Good But Didn't Blow My Mind. I would definitely recommend it, and I think it's a great movie. Like, don't get me wrong on that. I just don't know if I would put it on the same level as some of these other ones, I guess. Then we have the Amityville Horror, specifically the 2005 remake with Ryan Reynolds, which I think I'm gonna put in Actually Fantastic, just because that was another one that I remember watching like over and over and over and over as a child and really, really loving it. And it's one that I still think about to this day and really enjoy to this day, probably just because I loved it so much as a kid. But I think it's a great movie. Okay, we're getting to the end here. The next one we have is Insidious, which I think I'm gonna put that one. I was debating putting it down here in Solid Classic, which it could also go in that category, but I think I'm just gonna put it in Actually Fantastic. It is definitely like one of the first movies that I remember watching and being like actually a little bit freaked out. I love the concept of it with the astral projection and just a very fun take on like the possession story. It's not like a classic possession. It's done well. The one thing I hate about it though is the fact that they like whisper for the whole movie and then they make the music like really, really loud on purpose. I hate that in any movie regardless. Okay, and the last movie we have here is The Mist, which I think I'm gonna have to, well, should I put it in classic or no, I'll put it down here in classic. I was thinking of putting it in Actually Fantastic, but I think I'm just gonna leave it in Solid Classic because I feel like everybody needs to watch that movie at least once, and that is another one that I will repeat myself again. I wish I could erase at least the ending from my mind and watch it again, because that ending is one that will stick with you. Like, I remember watching this movie as like a little kid, and then 20 years later I still very, very well remember what the ending is because it's so messed up and it sticks with you. So if you haven't seen that movie somehow, this is your sign to go and watch it because, like, what? Anyway, this I think is gonna be our final spread so we can go through it together. Obviously, there are so many more horror movies that exist in the world, so I'm sorry if I didn't include any that you really love. There are so many more that I would have put in here as well, but I tried to stick with like popular ones that I feel like most people would recognize. So up top in my all-time favorite, we have You're Next, Hell House LLC, Trick or Treat, As Above, So Below, The Descent, Get Out, Sinister, The Strangers, Jennifer's Body, The Cabin in the Woods, Barbarian, Raw, 28 Days Later, X, and Pearl. Then the next category, actually fantastic, we have VHS, 31, Devil, Conjuring 1 and 2, House of Wax, The Babadook, The Collector, both versions of It, Smile, Terrifier, All Hallows Eve, Midsummer, Us, Black Phone, The Ritual, Orphan, Amityville Horror, and Insidious. So that's definitely the largest category yet. Pretty good but didn't blow my mind. We have The Visit, It Follows, Eden Lake, Megan, Hereditary, Malignant, and The Taking of Deborah Logan. Solid classics that I feel like every horror fan should watch at least once, and you definitely can't deny that these movies had a big effect on the genre. We have Hostel, Sleepaway Camp, Saw, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Scream, The Ring, Halloween, and The Mist. We have 6 in the category that I didn't really like. It Comes at Night, A Quiet Place, The Deep House, Lights Out, Old, and Ma. And then the 3 that I haven't seen yet are Host, Talk to Me, and Skinamarink, which 2 of those, at least I know I'm gonna watch. Host, I'm not sure if I really want to watch that one, but you guys tell me if it's worth it as far as like webcam horror movies go. Anyways, I could definitely talk for hours about my favorite horror movies, but I won't do that to you guys, so we're just gonna leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you agree or disagree with any of my placements, definitely let me know because I think that would just be fun to hear what your guys' opinions are on these movies. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you guys next time.